Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. Actually, I'm sitting in for Anandarupa Mataji. We don't know what's happened to her situation, but we'll see. She may jump in at any time. But in the meantime, we'll start the class. So this morning, the reference is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, and Text 3. Canto 2 is the cosmic manifestation. Chapter 9, the answers by citing the Lord's version. And those of you who know Chapter 8, all the questions were put by Maharaj Pariksit. So 9 is the answers to the question from the Lord's version. Okay, and we're doing Text 3 this morning. So without further ado, we'll start the class. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari. Okay, I will stop now because Mataji is joining. Hare Krishna. Okay, let me just see. Oh, no, it's not her. Okay. I have to continue. I apologize. It's actually Anuradha that got on. I thought that was her. Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadhari Yashodanandana Vrajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajanaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadhari Yashodanandana Vrajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajanaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Kunja Vihari. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivājakacārya Stotra Satyasri Maharaj Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivājakacārya Stotra Satyasri Maharaj Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Charja Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Swami Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Pamanandi. Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Krishna Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Swami Nityanande. Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Siddhartha Sri Guru Karva Shakti Bhakti Nityanande. Narayana Namaste Cha Narunche Vam Narutamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nashta Prayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamastoke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories is due to Prabhupada. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, Text 3. Yarhi vāva mahimni swe parasmin. Well, let me change it up. Yarhi vāva mahimni swe parasmin kāla-māyayoḥ. Rameta gata-sammohas tyaktvodāste tadobhayam. Yarhi vāva mahimni swe parasmin kāla-māyayoḥ. Rameta gata-sammohas tyaktvodāste tadobhayam. Yarhi vāva mahimni swe parasmin kāla-māyayoḥ. Rameta gata-sammohas tyaktvodāste tadobhayam. Hare Krishna. Anyone that wants to chant can unmute and chant now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Go ahead, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu, you can go ahead.
Yarhi vāva mahimni swe parasmin kāla-māyayoḥ. Rameta gata-sammohas tyaktvodāste tadobhayam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yarhi va mahimni swe parasmin kāla-māyayoḥ ramet gata-sammohas tyaktvodāste tadobhayam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Okay. So we'll do word for word then. Yarhi, at any time. Vāva, certainly. Mahimni, in the glory. Sway, of himself. Parasmin, in the supreme. Kāla, time. Māyayoḥ, of the material energy. Rameta, enjoys. Gata-sammohas, being freed from the misconception. Tyaktva, giving up. Tadobhayam, in fullness. Then. Tadobhayam, both the misconceptions of I and mine. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. As soon as the living entity becomes situated, as soon as the living entity becomes situated in his constitutional glory and begins to enjoy the transcendence beyond time and material energy, he at once gives up the two misconceptions of life, I and mine, and thus becomes fully manifested as the pure self. The two misconceptions of life, namely I and mine, are verily manifested in two classes of men. In the lower state, the conception of mine is very prominent. And in the higher state, the misconception of I is prominent. In the animal state of life, the misconceptions of mine is perceivable even in the category of cats and dogs, who fight with one another with the same misconception of mine. In the lower stage of human life, the same misconception is also prominent in the shape of it is my body, it is my house, it is my family, it is my caste, it is my nation, it is my country, and so on. And in the higher state of speculative knowledge, the same misconception of mine is transformed into I am, or it is all I am, etc. There are many classes of men comprehending the same misconception of I and mine in different colors. But the real significance of I can be realized only when one is situated in the consciousness of I am the eternal servitor of the Lord. This is pure consciousness, and the whole Vedic literatures teach us this conception of life. The conception of I am the Lord, the misconception of I am the Lord or I am the Supreme is more dangerous than the misconception of mine. Although there are sometimes directions in the Vedic literatures to think oneself one with the Lord, that does not mean that one becomes identical with the Lord in every respect. Undoubtedly, there is oneness of the living entity with the Lord in many respects. But ultimately, the living entity is subordinate to the Lord, and he is constitutionally meant for satisfying the senses of the Lord. The Lord therefore asks the conditioned souls to surrender unto him. Had the living entities not been subordinate to the will, the supreme will, why would the living entity be asked to surrender? Had the living entity been equal in all respects, then why was he put under the influence of Maya? We have already discussed that many times, that the material energy is controlled by the Lord. The Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 10, confirms this controlling power of the Lord over material nature. Can a living entity who claims to be as good as the Supreme Being control material nature? The foolish I would reply that he will do so in the future. Even accepting that in the future one will be as good a controller of material nature as the Supreme Being, then why is one now under the control of material nature? The Bhagavad Gita said that one can be freed from the control of material nature by surrendering unto the Supreme Lord. But if there is no surrender, then the living entity will never be able to control the material nature. So one must also give up this misconception of I by practicing the way of devotional service or firmly being situated in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. A poor man without any employment or occupation may undergo so many troubles in life. But if by chance the same man gets good service under the government, he at once becomes happy. There is no profit in denying the supremacy of the Lord, who is the controller of all energies. But one should be constitutionally situated in one's own glory, namely, to be situated in the pure consciousness of being the eternal servitor of the Lord. In his conditional life, the living entity is servant of the illusory Maya, and in his liberated state, he is the pure, unqualified servant of the Lord. To become untinged by the modes of material nature is the qualification for entering into the service of the Lord. As long as one is a servant of mental concoctions, one cannot be completely free from the disease of I and mind. The supreme truth is uncontaminated by the illusory energy because he is a controller of that energy. The relative truths are apt to be engrossed in illusory energy. The best purpose is served, however, when one is directly facing the supreme truth, as when one faces the sun. The sun overhead in the sky is full of light, but when the sun is not in the visible sky, all is in darkness. Similarly, when one is face to face with the Supreme Lord, he is freed from all illusions, and one who is not so is in the darkness of illusory Maya. The Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, text 26, confirms this as follows. Mang chayo vyavicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Sagunaya samatite tan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So the science of bhakti yoga, of worshiping the Lord, glorifying the Lord, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from the right sources, not from the professional man, but from a person who is Bhagavatam in life, and being always in the association of pure devotees, should be adopted in earnestness. One should not be misled by the misconceptions of I and mine. The karmis are fond of the conception of mine, and the jnanis are fond of the conception of I. And both of them are unqualified to be free from the bondage of the illusory energy. Srimad Bhagavatam and primarily the Bhagavad Gita are both meant for delivering a person from the misconception of I and mine. And Srila Vyasadeva transcribed them for the deliverance of the fallen souls. The living entity has to be situated in a transcendental position where there is no more influence of time nor of the material energy. In conditioned life, the living entity is subjected to the influence, I'm sorry, somebody just got in here, okay. In conditioned life, the living entity is subjected to the influence of time in the dream of past, present, and future. The mental speculator tries to conquer the influence of time by future speculations of becoming Vasudev, or the Supreme Lord himself, by means of culturing knowledge of conquering over ego. But the process is not perfect. The perfect process is to accept Lord Vasudev as the supreme in everything. And the best perfection in culturing knowledge is to surrender unto him, because he is the source of everything. Only in that conception can one get rid of the misconception of I and mine. Both Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam confirm it. Srila Vyasadeva has specifically contributed to the illusioned living entities, the science of God, and the process of Bhakti Yoga in his great literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the conditioned soul should fully take advantage of this great science. Oma Gyanati Mirandasya, Gyana Gyanashalakaya, Chakshu Amritam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantika. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavari Paschachari Sitarini. Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gunatase Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Okay. So we read the nice long purport. The translation again. As soon as the living entity becomes situated in its constitutional glory and begins to enjoy transcendence beyond time and material energy, he at once gives up the two misconceptions of life, I and mine, and thus becomes fully manifested in the pure self. Hare Krishna. So, Srila Prabhupada is letting us know with this translation and the nice long purport that's followed this translation, where our mindset should really be, I and mine. It is interesting that there are 2 points that explain this fallacy of I and mine. Fallacy means a false conception of I and mine. Did we create this planet? Did we create this universe? The answer is no. Was the universe here? Was this planet here before we were born? The answer is yes. So a person claims something if they've made it, manufactured it. And if they have not manufactured it, then they cannot say it's theirs. Therefore, the whole idea of mind goes out the window. And it is also, as Srila Prabhupada explains, a lower way of thinking, dominant and even in the animals. Cats and dogs, they fight over things because the conception is, it is mine. It's mine. Like that. And even sometimes human beings as babies, they also fight over some things. The baby that can't move around much, maybe only crawling. If something gets taken away from the baby and it's something that they want, they start crying about it. They will only stop crying if you hand it back to them. Or sometimes if you hand something that they think is a better thing than what they had before. But still, it's mine. The conception is there. Lord Kapila talks about it in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5, and Text 8. The conception of I and mine. Janasya Mohoya Mahamam Iti. So he gives a long, detailed explanation about how to stay away from I and mine. He was advising his 100 sons before leaving the kingdom, giving the kingdom to the first son, Maharaj Bharat. And he talked about this, very important. Also in Bhagavatam, 10th canto, which we'll get to later on, chapter 84, text 13, this whole idea of the misconception of people in life. Human beings are supposed to think better because we are more intelligent than animals. But if we go to the material energy and get steeped in the material energy, then we act as sophisticated animals. Just a little better in the way we see things, but still the basic way of looking at things as at the material level, and just like the animals are also at the material level. But we have high intelligence. That's why it's important to look at things from the eyes of the Shastra and see what our situation, our conception of things should be. So Srila Prabhupada in the purport says that there are two misconceptions, I and mine, and they are in two classes of men. And then he goes on to explain those who say I and those who say mine. So he's saying that in the lower state of human life, that same misconception is prominent in the shape of it is my body, it is my house, it is my, and we all are guilty of speaking like that. It is my family, it is my caste, it's my nation, it's my country, and so on. Actually, a good bit of the disputes that go on at the international level is from this misconception. It is my nation, it is my country. The disputes that go on, sometimes based on religion, it is my religion. I belong to this religion, and my religion is better than your religion, as if they all aren't talking about the ultimate who is God. But I know God better based on my religion than you know God. So Sri Krishna says, abandon all the varieties of religion and just surrender. The only thing that matters is to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But people say, it is my country, it is my, and on and on and on and on. You can fill in the blanks there. Then people come to a little higher, still in the material energy, higher stage of speculative knowledge, and they're saying the same thing. Now the mind has been transformed to I am. I am. And this is, as soon as we say I am this, I am that, or it is all I am, or worse, try to compare ourselves to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we are in my body philosophy. Because the my body says, I am Narayan. They haven't created anything, but they still call themselves Narayan. Narayan is the head of every Narayan, the head of one spiritual planet. They are not heading anything, and still they say, I'm Narayan. I have to be addressed as Narayan. And then they also think, I'm going to merge the ultimate into the light, which is actually the effulgence from the body of Krishna. But that's their conception of life. So, I am the eternal servitor of the Lord. One can say I am, but they have to end it with I am the eternal servitor of the Lord. And Srila Prabhupada explains that is pure consciousness. And the whole Vedic literature is to get us to understand this conception of life. I am the eternal servitor of the Lord. Deeper than that, I am the eternal servitor of the servitors, of the servitors, of the servants, of the Supreme Personality of God. And Srila Prabhupada explains, the more we think that we are servant of the servant of a servant, and far lower down the service ladder, for lack of a better way to put it, the purer we become. And Srila Prabhupada also says, if we think that we are the topmost, then we'll go to hell. And in the lecture, he said it twice. He said it twice. We compare ourselves to the Supreme Personality of God, and until we are at his level, then we go to hell. So this misconception of I am the Lord and I am supreme, it's actually even more dangerous, the Prabhupada says, than this misconception, the misconception of this is mine and that's mine, that's mine, that's mine. Because from the misconception of mine, you're talking about I own this, I own that, and I own that. But I am the Lord, that means I'm the controller of all those things, everything around. I am the Supreme. So that's more dangerous. And in Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter 84, text 13, Yashatma Budi Kunape Tridatuke, Swadi Kalata, the Shiboma HJD, Yateta Budhi Salile Nakahichi, Yaneshu Abigeshu, Sa Eva Gokara. Now, Sri Papa translates this as Yashatma Budi Kunape Tridatuke, the person who thinks that this bag of tadobhayam, the three glaciers, the mucus, bile, and air, which make the physical body, that's me, the one who thinks that way. And they think that the extension of the family, the wife or the husband, the children, they are the extension of me, and my country is worshipable. Just as Srila Prabhupada describes here, I am this body, I'm American, I'm all these designations. Those who go to the places of pilgrimage, but still with a material mentality. I'm going to go to, I've heard that the Jamuna, when you bathe in it, there's this boon that you get, advantage that you get. Just go bathe in the Jamuna and go bathe in the Ganga, depending on where you go. And everything is solved that way. I'm done. The Sri Prabhupada describes it even in a kind of a joking way. People go to Vrindavan, they have their camera, they take pictures of different places, including Govardhan Hill. They go to the shops and they buy some things as, token things to tell them, okay, I was there, and they buy some gifts for their friends and family members and so on. Then they come back. They visit the temples and they come back, wherever they came from. Without asking the residents who are there, who are sadhus, about the spiritual connection, the spiritual aspect of the place of pilgrimage that they have visited. That many people tend not to do. When Srila Prabhupada very much wanted to go to Jagannath Puri to see Lord Jagannath, he went there. He was quite young at that time. He wasn't even married at that time. He was home. He just asked permission from his parents to travel. He was a teenager. And when he went to Jagannath Puri, he knew that some people want to come and do business with you, not you as a business partner, but as a customer. They want to dump something on you so you give them money. So at first, anybody that tried to approach him, he shooed them away. He didn't want to deal with them. Then an older gentleman talked to him, met him, talked to him. At first, Srila Prabhupada Abhay Babu also thought that this man was just like the other younger guys that come and they want money. But the man immediately corrected him. He said, "Do you think I am after your money?" And when he said that, Srila Prabhupada kind of looked at him and realized this is a genuine person that wants to talk about the connection of spirituality in Jagannath Puri to the Lord Jagannath to him. And then he opened up. Srila Prabhupada opened up his attention, his mind, and this particular person, I do not remember the name, told Srila Prabhupada about Lord Jagannath. Basically gave Srila Prabhupada a class, and he and Srila Prabhupada enjoyed it very much, very appreciated. That's what we should be about. Not just go through Yateta Buddhi, Salile. Salile means water. Just be in the water of the Ganges, Jamuna, it goes on, Saraswati, depending where you go. Sindhu, Kaveri, they're all holy waters. But that's not the main aim. You also have to, it's good to go to the holy place of pilgrimage. We're not beating that down. But it's better when you're there to connect with the sadhus that are there. The genuine sadhus, not the ones that come to you one way or the other to get money. and find out more about the place of pilgrimage that we've been. They live there, and the person that lives there would know more about the place than anyone else that comes to visit. And your Papa says, your translates the last bit, Sa eva gokara. Sa means he, that person. Eva, certainly. Go means cow. Kara means donkey. Sa eva gokara. That person is no better than a cow or donkey. The person who thinks that the body is his, the person who thinks that the family is just an extension of him, the person who thinks that this country is worshipable, is all it is. And, the best situation that's happened to me is I'm American, I'm Indian, I'm this, and on and on and on and on. Or when they go to the places of pilgrimage, as we just talked about, they go for the superficial part of it, but not the deep understanding. That person is no better than an animal, a cow or a donkey. So this I and mine are at the corner of many, many, many things that we do for most people. For most people. But Krishna consciousness slowly changes our conception. First, we're not these bodies. So then the Yashatma Buddhi Kunapetridatuke, that goes out the door. The person that thinks that this body of the Tridatu, that's him. The person thinks they are the body. That goes out the door. So it takes, and it's easier said than actually done. Many, many people, because we don't understand how Maya works and how intricate and sophisticated Maya can be. Some even people who are now devotees are still stuck in the mind, and then I am. We're being worked on a little bit to say, when you say I am, just like this text talks about, we should end it with the eternal servitor of the Lord. I am the eternal servitor of the Lord. But still, there are remnants of mine and mine and mine, and we talk about it in regular conversation. Saying my this, my that, my this, my that. Not that devotees should necessarily change the language, because it becomes more difficult now to merge or to be along, to be relating to others, because that's how they speak. But at the back of our minds, we should understand that everything belongs to the Lord. And that is why the spiritual poem is there. Manasa Geho, Geho, my mind, my house, my family, I give them all to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Please take it. That is also another way of saying surrender. I surrender to you. When I say surrender, does not mean that only me and my mind, but everything that, not everything that is mine, but everything that you have allowed, Lord, to come in my life space. When we speak, when we think like that, we may not even speak like that because it's quite long. But when we speak like that, then we understand that we are getting away from the conception of mine. Everything that's with us, one, it's easy to prove that we don't own it. Number one, we were born without any of those things. Without any of those things. We just started talking about mind later when a few things came into our life space. We weren't born with any of those things. And at the end of life, we die. We can't take any of those things with us. So if we were born without anything and we leave, we can't take anything with us, then how did we come to own anything just between the time we were born and the time we're going to die? How did we come to own it? Ownership can't be. In the full spiritual sense, and the highest intelligence would prove to us that we can't really own, and can't say we own anything, because everything was here. Now, if we take it and use it for some purpose, especially a good purpose, yes, that goes into our bank account. Because either the Supreme Personality of God as Paramatma or Yamaraj, depending on where the person's consciousness is, devotee or non-devotee, is keeping track of what we do. For devotees, it's the Lord in our heart that keeps track. For non-devotees, it's Yamaraj, and Yamaraj's department that keeps track of what's going on in a person's life. The super soul is with us in our hearts, and he's Anumanta Upadrishta, supervises and also allows. Srila Prabhupada explains that without the permission of the super soul, we cannot do anything. Now, if that is the case, without the super soul, we can know that the permission of a super soul, we cannot do anything. Then how do we become I am? Like we are controller, when in fact it is the super soul here in this material world that would allow us to do anything. So this is instructions that should go to the mind. Raghunath Das Goswami had just said in his instructions, Mana Shiksha, instructions to the mind. He says, oh my dear mind, relish the wonderful activities of Radha and Krishna. Now, when we say that, it does not mean that the very high relationship of Madhurya Ras between Radha and Krishna. No. Relish Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Means, oh my mind, relish the situation that I have of the opportunity to serve Radha and Krishna. The opportunity to perform devotional service to the Lord. Lord Chaitanya, Krishna himself, in the mood of Srimati Radharani, has simplified Krishna consciousness to us by saying, chant the holy name of the Lord, and that gives the same purpose, developing love for Godhead. And by the Lord's own plan, it is such that saying Hare Krishna, one never gets tired. One can repeat and repeat the mantra several times and we won't get tired. That's not from us. That is a spiritual potency of the mantra that makes it possible for us to say it and repeat and repeat and repeat. And I remember when I first came into Krishna consciousness. So I am new, early 90s. And I heard Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The Washington, D.C. area. Devotees at the time were repeating this. Now I'm totally new now. So one of the leaders one time on the phone, I asked her, so what does this Hare Krishna mean? Then he explained the whole mantra means, dear Radha, dear Krishna, please engage me in devotional service to you. I was very thrilled. Somehow it just hit me like my mind and everything just basically just latched on to the meaning. And so I thanked her. I said, thank you. This is very wonderful meaning. Now, I was uncomfortable. I'm new now. So I'm saying all this, I have to understand it that way. New. So I've gotten the meaning of this in English, and I'm very excited about it. And then she also told me that you just have to keep repeating it. You have to repeat. You have to repeat. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That doesn't take long to memorize. But I was more latched onto the meaning of it. Dear Radha, dear Krishna, please engage me in devotional service to you. So guess what I did? Dear Radha, dear Krishna, engage me in devotional service to you. Dear Radha, dear Krishna, please engage me in devotional service to you. Dear Radha, dear Krishna, on and on and on, speaking like that because I wasn't used to Sanskrit. It didn't take long for me to realize I'd get tired speaking that way. So then I just said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And that seemed to slip out of my tongue easily. Now, we're saying that to say a point. Of course, from that point on, I never repeated the English translation of it, just stayed with the Sanskrit. But we're saying that to say we should never be hesitant to repeat, to say and repeat and repeat and repeat the Hare Krishna mantra. Not only in the japa beats, not only when we're in the temple and it's time for arati and we are singing and jumping up and down, dancing with the Hare Krishna mantra. Not only that. Not only when we have our beats in our hands, but while we're going on with our daily activities, still, we should say the mantra because it puts us in the mindset of Radha and Krishna all of the time. And the supreme secret here is our final exams. When it comes time to leave the body, we would prefer to remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Hare Krishna mantra being repeated throughout the day would help us because we have flooded our minds so much with the mantra that when the time comes for our final exams and we're on our deathbed, we would remember Krishna because we have been chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. The only way to do it is to make that the dominant thoughts in our mind on a daily basis, the Hare Krishna mantra and the service to the Lord and the Lord's devotees. If we make that a dominant one, then at the time of death, that will be the main thing on our mind. The same mantra. And with that, Krishna says, we think about him at the time of death, we're going to him. Whatever that's in our mindset, on our minds at the time of death, the arrangement will be made. And it is not too hard to understand that, or it is not too hard to prove that. The mind, the subtle body, mind intelligence, they carry the soul to the next existence. To the next existence. That's done by the subtle body. The soul is very fine, it's very small for now, small, very, very atomic in size. And the subtle, the physical body, that's death. Physical body is not going anywhere. It's not even going to be active anymore. But the subtle body carries the soul to the next existence. But think about it. The subtle body is the mind and the intelligence, where our thoughts come from. And so when that time comes, and the mind, which is the one that thinks, the intelligence is the one that supplies the proper way to think, the proper things to think about, these two are carrying the soul, and their function is the pictures of what we are thinking. When we think of something, the mind has a picture of that thing. And so if we think about something other than Krishna, then that will be the picture that will be in the mind. And intelligence, they carry the soul, therefore they carry the soul to just what the picture was that we gave to the mind. And that's what it means that undoubtedly, as Krishna was saying, the next existence will be based on what we're thinking. Now, the thing that is most likely to happen to the mind, the picture that will come to the mind, is the picture that has been predominant in our thinking throughout our lives. That's why when a person says yes to Krishna, they come to Krishna consciousness, they are advised to keep repeating the mantra, because on the one hand, that is one that gets us towards devotional service. Because it's saying, please engage in devotional service to you. But dear Radha and dear Krishna, which means the mind is thinking of Radha and Krishna. And when the mind thinks of Radha and Krishna, and it's the predominant thought through our lives, then as my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Maharaj explained to me, at the time of death, it's the dominant thought that we've been having the whole life that's going to be the one that the mind will draw a picture of and take the soul to. So the next existence, if it's about Krishna, then the next existence is Krishna, which means Krishna's abode. Now that happens to be the abode that is the most permanent, or the permanent, not even most permanent, it's just permanent, period. And the most enjoyable, and it's totally anxiety-free. And then on top of that, The spiritual world has so many planets. But that one planet that is the farthest, where the most versatile relationship with Krishna exists, Goloka Vrindavan or Krishna Loka, that is the place where at this time, by the mercy, not us, but the mercy of the Lord and the Lord's devotees, we are given access to in this particular sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. At the time when Krishna Loka's existence is made known. The point we're making is it's not always made known. And Krishna does not come in every Dwapara Yuga. No. So this is a window of opportunity to go back, not only to the spiritual world, but to that particular planet. If we belong to this Sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, which we do, Srila Prabhupada, that's the Sampradaya. At this time, when Lord Chaitanya has come, Lord Chaitanya comes in Kali Yuga, but one Kali Yuga out of 1,000 Kali Yugas. And Lord Brahma's Day, he comes in one of them. And this happens to be that Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is 432,000 years. Only 500, almost 540 years. Next month will be 500, next year will be 540 years. The Lord Chaitanya came. And at that time, it is made known the Krishna Loka. Other than that, there will be in the other 999 Kali Yugas, yes, the Lord will be there, Gora Narayan. There will not be the so wonderful explanation of the existence of Krishna Loka. Now we do have it. This is the 1 millennium that Krishna Loka is available. And not only that, we have an opportunity to go by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, and things have been simplified for us to go. It's been simplified. Even the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra and japa is supposed to be 64 rounds. And only a couple of, those of us second generation, we have to look at it that way, a couple of spiritual masters, Srila Prabhupada, and then before him, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. In Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj's time, the devotees had to chant 64 rounds every day. So it was more of a challenge they had to get used to. If you really want to go back to Godhead, you're chanting 64 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra every day. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj gave the exception to those who were book distributors that would go from the morning to the evening spreading Krishna consciousness through book distribution. They were allowed to chant 16 rounds. Everybody else did 64 rounds. It didn't matter what service you had, you did 64 rounds. Now, Srila Prabhupada is giving even more mercy by saying across the board, minimum 16 rounds. Across the board, regardless of what you do. So it means that the Lord wants us back, as we say, more so than we even want to go back. And the mercy of his pure devotee is very prevalent. So his pure devotee requested that. This is Srila Prabhupada, and Krishna has allowed it. Krishna has allowed it. How fortunate we are if we take advantage. That's what Srila Prabhupada, many of his lectures, he says, one should take advantage. One should take advantage. It is a very small window, one of the 1,000 Kali Yugas, that this opportunity to go back to Godhead has been made back, not only back to the Vaikuntha, but to Goloka Vrindavan in particular, has been made available to us. So we're saying all of that to say we should never take this process lightly. Get away from the I and mind concept. We were born with everything already here on the earth, and we can't stay here. The earth will be here when we leave, so we don't really own anything. Whatever comes to our possession, use it not for sense gratification, because then we'll be like Gokara, the cows and the donkeys, working hard, sweating, all of that, so much. But serve the Lord with it, whatever we have in our possession. Serve the Lord with it. Then there's so much to gain. Because going back to Godhead means all our problems will be gone. They will be replaced with intense, ever-existing happiness, ever-existing life, no death. Work will be gone. Whatever you desire, you get. And the Lord will be serving. We'll be serving the Lord, and he'll be serving back, which means exchange of love. That's what we really mean. And so, hopefully enough said that we get it and we'll take this process seriously. No more I and mine. Nothing belongs to us. Srila Prabhupada has explained to us, it just depends on what we do with all this wonderful information that's there. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much for coming on to here this Monday morning. And now this is the time. If you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask the questions. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? All right, I'm not hearing anything. Hopefully everybody can hear me. But if not, that is also good. We take whatever that we've learned. I'm speaking, but I'm also only through the mercy of my Guru. This is happening. So we all would benefit from this. We're not the owners. We're not the owners, not even of these bodies. We don't even own these bodies. So there's some text messages thanking for the lecture. See the Prabhupada's mercy, Guru's mercy, that these be explained. I and mine, we should forget that. Very, very, very tuned in to being the servant of the Lord. So we'll stop here. Have a nice, wonderful Krishna conscious week. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhave eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you again. Hare Krishna. Jai.